First Peter chapters 5 and verse 8 says, "Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about seeking whom he may devour." Yes, Shalom Akim Arya, back at you with another lesson through the power and the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yoshai, giving double honors to all the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone. And yes, the house of David is rising in the hopeful year that all of the prophecies come to pass. That was the new word of the year, phrase of the year, terminology of the year, that the hopeful prophecies come to pass. Lord willing, they do. And it's up to par at the moment. It's on point at the moment. Not one of the prophecies or not one word of the Most High's mouth has fallen to the earth without seeing results. So we just have to see how this movie plays out. But yeah, we're back at you with this lesson. To be vigilant. Yeah, be vigilant and be sober, because your adversary the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about seeking whom he may devour. Yeah, in the New Year's Eve, man, coming home from camp, I can tell you, I'm not going to tell you all the nitty gritty details, but there was definitely a call for vigilance. From what I'm hearing, not only over here and over London, in London, there was some kind of panic, uproar, or some kind of panic situation where people started rushing places. I want to see if I can find out the backstory, perhaps do a video on it. But it really does fall in line with what I'm going to talk about here, about being vigilant. Just getting home from camp on the, it wasn't even a New Year, it was New Year's Eve. So there was preparing, everything was being prepared for New Year's night, New Year's Day to come in, and roads were blocked off and people were, you can imagine, as you can visualize, drunk, getting prepared in their minds, having their wine and their beer and all the things, the other things they drink, cider, hooking up and all kinds of madness, man. So I got home though, safely. But the spirit was on me to be vigilant, and all power to Yahweh Shem Yoshai. The spirit was on me to be vigilant. So this is an appropriate video to go into at the beginning of this year, and there's a lot we're gonna go into. But I usually start the week, I usually start the week with a certain, like a spirit of study and getting into my words, challenging myself with getting into the words, challenging my fears. Can't be intimidated. Challenging my fears. Yeah, words and numbers. But yeah, for the power and spirit of Yahweh Shem Yoshai, we're gonna overcome. We're gonna overcome strongly entrenched things and things that Satan is trying to put upon us. I had a nice vision, which Lord willing, I'll break that down through the power and spirit of Yahweh Shem Yoshai later on in the week. But let's get into this word. Without further ado, yeah, so be vigilant, man. I want to look at the word sober first. We're going to start with this word here, sober. And we're going to come back to the blue letter, but I like to start the week with getting into my words. There's a whole heap of things happening. As I just looked at the chat, people are getting killed in planes, getting sucked into engines. Deaths, there was a lot of deaths last year of prominent people like the Pope, celebrities, the Queen, and then we know what's going on. We're not ignorant of Satan's devices. So that was a year of turn up, man. So this is the year of the Most High's hopeful prophecies coming to pass, and we want to get out of this bitch. So that's why we're pushing this vibration out here of truth, man. So soberness is going to be necessary. Sober, not affected by alcohol. Right, people, that's the spirit, man. People are still recovering with their hangovers from the other day, the New Year's and the New Year's Eve. The people still recovering, man. They are affected, but really, we're really focusing and homing in on the spiritual aspect of what's happened and what's gonna happen. past, present, and future, we need to be sober. And we're going to go in on this for the sake of this video. Clear-headed. Now we're focusing on the spiritual. Clear-headed. So we want to be clear-headed, and yeah, and I'm glad I was clear-headed the other day. You know, not to say you can't have a little. If you want a little drink, you can do that. You know, in your yard, in your own time, in your own, around your own, you know, with your people, with your family, whoever it may be, in the comfort of your own home, you can have your little drink. But I wouldn't advise it being out and about around these people. I wouldn't advise it, and the scriptures doesn't advise it either. You know, a lot of the wise words of King Solomon talks about that. But yeah, clear-headed, as sober as a judge. Yeah, they say when you're gonna judge a man, don't be clouded over with alcohol. It clouds your mind, it clouds your thoughts, it clouds your thinking. Teetotal. That's another word for getting drunk, isn't it? I think, if I'm not mistaken. Teetotal or teetotaler. Non-drinking, abstemious, temperate, moderate, on the wagon. Serious, sensible. This is really what we want to focus on here. The spiritual side of it. But this, so the purpose of this video: serious, sensible, solemn. Yeah, and sometimes tune into the brothers over there in one of the states over there in America. Their channel is Solemn Assembly. Solemn Assembly 4. Because yeah, that's what they're putting out there. They're putting that vibration out there to be being solemn, right? No, I just clapped. The spirit just had me just click onto that. Dignified. Oh, to be solemn means to be dignified, right? Ceremonious, ceremonial, stately, courtly, majestic. The spirit just had me click on that. Well, I didn't do that intentionally, but the spirit had me do that. You know, it was like a knee-jerk reaction. I just clicked on the word solemn from the word sober. It led me to this: majestic, serious, earnest, grave, sober. Back to the word sober. Sombre, unseemly. Some more words here. Characterized by deep sincerity. Yeah. Double honors to all the elders and all the brothers that are pushing this word out in sincerity and truth. We're reminded to be sincere in this truth, to be honest and sincere, and to be earnest, pushing the vibration of this kingdom going down. Honest, genuine, firm, committed. Not much left. Heartfelt, wholehearted. Yeah. You know, so you really got to put your heart in this truth, man. Even just getting to camp, you know, trying to get there on time, you got to be wholehearted about that, you know, to get there, because we're serving our brothers, we're ministering to our brothers. We want to be there, always ready to minister, to serve our brothers with sincerity and truth. And that's part of my duty in this truth, bringing carrying the sign. So I always try and get there on time, and setting up certain bits and pieces with the camcorder, and you know, setting it up, preparing for the ministry to go out, man, around the world. So you know, to be sincere, earnest, genuine, honest, wholehearted. You have to be wholehearted, man, and to get through all the rubble to get to camp. You know what I'm saying? The rubble, all the crap. The people, otherwise the people are described as water in the Bible, because it's like waves and rushing left, right, and center. You got to swim through those people, those waves, that water to get there, and it's the condition of the battle. That's in Sirach. You know, to get to camp, that's a battle. That's the condition of the battle. That's in Sirach 7, or I think it's 2nd Ezra 7, chapter 7. And the preceding verses. That's the condition of the battle. Yeah. So to get there, you need to have all these qualities. That's just to get to camp. And yeah, we're at the beginning of this year, so yeah, we Lord willing, we cultivate every single one of these qualities of to being sober, and that's how I'm starting off my year, right? I'm approaching it, Lord willing, Abaratazar, Father willing, Abaratazar. I'm approaching it with a mindset of being sober, right? That's my mindset, Lord willing, Abaratazar, and we want those crowns, we want the victory, so we want to start sober, in between being sober, and end being sober to get the crowns. Once again, I say, Abba Ratazar, Father willing. Again, this is the etymology: moderate in desires or actions, temperate. Scriptures talk about being temperate. It means to be like balanced. Actually, that's a good word to go in. We could go into that, Lord willing, sometime. Lord willing, sometime down the line, maybe this week. But there's a lot to get into, prophecies, and we're going to get into some of the current events too. What's been happening, not just weathers, not just the cold and the up and down weathers, people dying like flies, but also people just dying of all different types of circumstances, judgments. Right? There's a lot, man. And we know about the MOTB, or the digital currency that they wanna that's already activated behind the scenes under the radar. What they call it, the slow they're doing what you call the word might come to me down the line, but let me carry on here. I'm talking. Let me just get into this. Moderate desires, actions, temperate restraint, especially abstaining from strong drink. Also calm, right? So you can apply that spiritually as well, and kindly too. You ain't trying to get all legless around in this place, all legless and shit face around these people. People take advantage of people when they see that they can do that, man. And we see stuff like that happening. All kinds of mad fights break out in the new year. People die, and that could be another video too, about the deaths of people dying, so-called the Christ Mass Day and the New Year's Eve. People die, man. A lot of people die, which you don't hear. They don't bring it out a lot in mainstream news, the type of things that go on, right? But they're doing this the slow cooking thing. The illustration of the frog that you put it into the hot pot of boiling hot water, the frog. The terminology I'm trying to bring out, I'm trying to say. And slowly introduce this currency via the phones. Like I say, there's a lot to talk about. Let me see if I can just get through this right here, right? Of being calm, quiet, not overcome by emotions. All right, not overcome by emotions. Decent, sober. Yeah, and yeah, the other word we looked at was to be dignified, man. When you see people falling all over the place with their nice clothes on, getting all dirty, and when you see these women doing that too, of course you lose respect for them, because they all their dignity and their decorum goes out the window. Their inhibitions go out the window. Especially a lot of these women, they can't handle their drink. All their inhibitions go out the window. They start exposing themselves, falling over. You've seen it. You've seen it. You understand? All up north and all these places in the central London, and so they lose their dignity, man. I want to get back to that word again. That word I just tapped on that word. Solemn. Yeah, the solemn. They lose all solemnness about them, and they lose that word again. They lose being majestic. The word majestic. That's a nice word that stuck out with me there, right? They lose their dignity and their decorum. and the inhibition goes out the window. So we don't want that to happen to us on any form of level, whether it be spiritual or literal or carnal. We don't want that to happen. We want to remain dignified, man. Especially as men as the Lord, we're representing Yahweh, Yahushai. Reduced to quick conditions, sober, meaning render, grave, or serious. Is from serious. Yeah, that's it there. Serious. You can be serious, man. We have a little laugh among ourselves, and family members or whatever. We have the little time out. Yeah, but when it's time to, in boxing they call it time out. If someone gets hit below the belt, he needs a little time to have time out. We have our time out, and then after we've had our 5 minutes of laughter, we don't want too long in this kingdom. 5 minutes of laughter, and then it's back to business again. Yeah, break. They say break. All right, nah, get back to business. Fight on, fight on. We know we're in a war, right? So we have a little time out from time to time amongst ourselves, but we don't get legless and shit face around these people. We're behind enemy lines, man. Right? So we have to be serious. The word there, serious, when it talks about being sober. There's another word, and we won't get back to the blue letter. An important word. Again, I'm gonna stress the importance of being alert. Alert. Right? Alert. And I was alert coming home from camp. Right, New Year's Eve, coming home from camp, I was alert. Brothers, maybe they can tell you, man. Listen, once we had a little time out and it was time to go, I was alert, and I'm glad, because when I was coming home and I was waiting at a place, there's certain roads they just blocked off. Right, you're gonna hear about this if you haven't already heard about it. The blockings off on the roads in the inner cities and in central London, they just blocked off roads. So they was causing. I was alert and I was vigilant, and I said they're trying to cause some trouble. The Centurions, I saw it, man, my own eyes, man. We're not ignorant of Satan devices. They're trying to cause some kind of panic situation where they can start grabbing people up, right? I don't know how many people died as yet. I still have to find out, the backstory of what happened in the central London. I didn't really sit down and watch it like. There's been so much happening as far as the gathering in Trafalgar Square, but a lot of roads were blocked off. There was roads just blocked off just for the sake of it. If you ask me, we was going down a road, come down, and they let you go through, and then they blocked off the road. Someone said to me, you know what? We can't get through a particular area. I'm not going to say the area, because we were just told we can't get down there, it's only going so far. So they blocked the road. They blocked off roads. But I believe they was blocking off roads for the sake of causing panic, people to panic, and there was a lot of panicking that happened. Yeah, I'll check the news, and like I say, I do a video on it. But they was creating a situation where people were gonna be all crowded up, rushed up, just like you heard about what happened in the Halloween over there in was it over in Korea, the Koreans. A lot of people died of being crushed in the Halloween that time. And a lot of people died. We know in the New Year's a lot of people died for all different reasons. And in the Korean Halloween celebration, over 300 people died of being crushed and being led down the road, and it wasn't organized properly. And that was the demons that done that, which the demons are the modern day, are the ease in the flesh. They was creating situations all by design. And I got home and I avoided all of that, and I said, Barakatah Yahweh, Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, for getting me home safely and being alert. I have to express it to you, man. I can't stress it enough, to be alert, quick to notice any unusual potential dangers or difficult circumstances. And I saw it creating. I saw they was creating something. Brother saw me when I was getting home, man. I weren't playing. Once we finished our time out, that was it. I saw they was trying to create a potential disastrous or difficult situation. I saw that. I saw it building even before it was a couple of hours before I picked up on it quick. Couple of hours I got out of there. Couple of hours in advance, right? So that's why I'm stressing this precept right now through the pound spirit of Yahweh Shemeshah. Vigilance, attentiveness, yeah, watchful, put on one's guard. Don't know why they've blacked them words out there. Them words are necessary, man. See what I'm saying? Watchfulness, carefulness. You see? Can you see it? Don't know why they've dumbed it down or covered it over. Guardedness. Them words are powerful. Cautiousness, wariness. Yeah, we don't want to be wary in none of these times. Circumspection, prudent, heed, mindfulness. Right, we don't want to be careless. But I don't know why those words are heavy, man. Those words are necessary, man. Watchfulness, carefulness. But that's the point. Quick to notice any unusual or potential dangerous or difficult circumstances. So I was alert and I got out of there on time. Looking back now, that was all the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yoshai anyway. So Yahweh Bashem Yoshai, Yahweh Yoshai gets the credit for that, putting the spirit upon me to see the circumstances, the situation that they were trying to create before it even happened. It wasn't a situation that just happened organically. They made that situation. It was organized. It was all by design. So I don't know how many people could have kicked the bucket, but we'll find out. We'll find out. Right? It's called the year. This year again, I've got it in my phone here. It's called the hopeful year that all of the prophecies come to pass. Yeah, man. We started off already with a bang, man. People dropping like flies. I just checked on the chat. Judgments coming up left, right and center already. Right, again. And we're going to stress it. Vigilance, alert. We're going to get back to the blue letter. We've covered it already, but you see, we're putting the vibration out there for you, Akim. You know, most of you know already, but a lot of you still don't know, man. Right? Attitudes of vigilance, as in an alert, warning report. We're in that time now of warning. Yeah, prophecies to send out those, prophesying to send out those warnings. Alerting. We're alerting you. Alright. Enough said on that. Vigilant. Comes back to the word alert, comes back to the word being vigilant. This doesn't have to be a long drawn out video, because really we just, as we do, like I say, I like to start the week getting into challenging myself, man, with my condition, and I think it's on the up and up, man. I would go as far as to say my condition, some of you brothers may know, is on the up and up. And I ain't gonna give up fighting. Lord willing, I'll get cured of my condition. And we don't have to go into all the nitty-gritty Greek details of my condition, but yeah, we're challenging ourselves right now. Right, back to the blue letter. Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about seeking whom he may devour. Looked at the word there in the Google and the etymology, both of those words, sober, vigilant, or sober we looked at, and alert. But let's go in. So yeah, be vigilant. Let's see what it says.
Gregareo. Strong's G 1127. Gregareo.
Verb, the word is straight and simple and plain. Yeah, be vigilant, to watch. Yeah, scriptures talk about to be watchful, man. In this time we're living in, to be watchful. Give strict attention to be cautious, active. Yeah, to take heed lest the remissions and indolence, some destructive calamity suddenly overtake one. Remission and indolence. To take heed. That's it, man. That's it. You know? A little word goes far. A little word, it is only need sometimes a little word to take you somewhere, man. You know? A word, a simple word can break a bone. A simple word, but words to that effect, what I'm trying to say. Take heed, lest the remission and some destructive calamity suddenly overtake you. It's to take heed, to watch. You look where you're going all the time, don't you? You know, the Green Cross Road, we learned that when we was at school. It's just basically looking before you, walking before you run, and looking before you run. Before you cross the road, you look left and right. Simple things. But you'd be surprised how many people overlook to be vigilant, and that's why you hear people dying Halloween up there. The numbers are up there. Halloween, the numbers are up there. Christmas Day, people died Christmas Eve. People died New Year's Eve. People died New Year's Day because they was not vigilant, and they let their inhibitions go out the window by getting drunk and not being sober. And that's why we're discussing this right now, doing this video on the word vigilance. There's other things to get into, but I don't want it to be too long. I don't want it to be too long, but there's other words there. Your adversary, right? We looked at the word vigilant. Let's look at the word sober.
Strong's G 3525. NAFO. NAFO.
To be sober. You see if it says anything similar to what Google said. To be sober, calm, collected in spirit. Yeah, man. They say when you're in the heat of the storm. Again, I'm going to use the terminology in boxing. As it's one of my favorite sports, along with many others. But they say to be sober, to be calm in the mid of the storm. When the man's unloading on ya, if you can stay in the pocket, keep your calm, right? If the closer you might get to a man who's a hard hitter, this is just people that know. The closer you get to a man that is a heavy hitter, the harder it is for him to tag you. The power's on the end of his arm. So if you get in the eye of the needle and be calm, they call it being in the pocket, and ride it out, because everybody has to tire out at some point, and then and it's your turn. You see, but you got to be temperate, man. To be temperate, and you pick your opportunities. But you really need to be sober. You need to be calm. You remain calm in the eye of the needle. And people have survived. I've done a video on it too. People have survived certain situations, like being in the eye of a needle in the storms, because they remain calm, or they didn't even have time to panic. That's really what happened. Sometimes people get picked up and thrown about in the eye of the needle in a tornado, and they land miles away, or in some cases like yards and yards away, hundreds of yards away, and they live because their body was so relaxed. They didn't even have time to tense up and panic. They didn't even break a bone. Their body was too relaxed. This has been said, by psychologists and all kinds of people that analyze the brain and stuff. So the brain is a fascinating thing. So they say to be sober. And that's spiritual we're talking about, but it's also, it's also you can talk about literally to be sober. There's always nothing wrong with ever being sober. You don't always have to be legless like these people in the world, man. It takes a little bit it takes the edge off at times. We can have a little, like I say, we can have our time, man. But we don't always have to do it like these people. They live for that, getting drunk and legless and falling about the place, then bursting out into fight and losing all their dignity and all their inhibitions. So this is how we're going to start this year. Yaharatazar on a serious note. And we want to get out of this place. We won't get those crimes, man. So to be temperate, you know what I mean? We want to be temperate throughout the beginning of it, in the mid flow, and at the end of it. And if we stay like that, we'll get those crimes, man. If we stay temperate and sober in the heat of the moment, in the heat and the eye of the needle, Lord willing, Abaratazar, we do that and we get those crimes. So yeah, man, it's about that time for me right now. I wanted to challenge myself and get a little bit more into this. There's a lot of other nice words here, a little bit of meat here. All right then, let's get this one here. A roaring, and then if necessary, we can come back because it's a nice precept to look at, man. Yeah, the devils are walking around like a roaring lion, seeking whom he may devour. And I had a vision last night, but I don't know. The spirit's saying don't. Maybe don't go into it right now. I had a vision similar to what we're talking about now. You know what I mean? It's very similar to what we're talking about now. The vision I had last night, fresh off the press, which maybe that's why I'm doing this video.
Strong's G
now.
5612. Oruamai. Oruamai.
We're going to end with this one. The devil walking around like a roaring lion, seeking whom he may devour. He's to roar, to howl, lion, wolf, dog, other beasts, men, to raise and loud and inculcate, cry either of grief or of joy, sing with a loud joy. Yeah, well, we can roar, yeah, we can roar, but we're gonna roar our Abaratazar Yahweh. When Yahushua come back, you're gonna roar. Yeah, that's is it Isaiah 63? Yeah, he says the vengeance is gonna be in his heart. He's gonna roar like a roaring lion, man. Yeah, that vengeance he's gonna have to unleash that on the enemy. So, but what we're talking about now, the devil. Yeah, he roars, and I'm gonna give you the illustration of the lion before he's hunting, or in the literal jungle, the literal lion. There's times when the lion will just roar, and when you hear a lion roar, you know about it, right? You know, people have told me in those safari, those safari trips where they go to and they hear lions roaring, and they say, man, it's not like when you hear it on TV, but they actually roar into the ground, and the ground vibrates. And when they do it, there's a method to it, so that the prey who may be hiding can panic and run out in the open, and then they just grab them. Yeah, the gazelle or the calf of some animal, the buffalo or whatever they're hunting. The swine, the hog, whatever they're hunting. So they roar into the ground to create a panic for the prey to come out and run, and then leave behind their young, their cub or calf, and then that's when they get their feed on. That's the lion. That's the tactic. The lion is very strategic. When it comes to hunting, it's a very strategic animal. Not much different than our enemy, the devil, who was once our brother, the ease. So we're not ignorant of Satan's devices. We are aware that Satan is walking about. So there you have it, Akim. We're aware of this, Satan's devices. We want to check out that. We wanted to just go into those words like being watchful. Yeah, and he's walking about. Yeah. So we looked at the word vigilant, being sober. There's other words we can get into. Yaharatazar, we can come back, Lord willing, for the power and spirit of Yahweh Hashem Yoshai. I don't know how much data is going on my phone. I don't want to, just overdo it right now. I think I hit the bullet points I wanted to hit. And we're going to say all praises to Yahweh Hashem Yoshai. Abaratazar, we do live to see the end of it. The hopeful year that all of the prophecies come to pass. So on that note, we're going to read this and we'll end off the video. 1 Peter 5:8 says, be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking whom he may devour. So Lord willing, we don't fall prey to that roaring lion, but we stay sober and vigilant through the power and spirit of Yahweh Shem Shai. Shalom to all the sincere Akim. The water to Yahweh Shem Shai, the spirit to do this video. And yes, the house of David is rising. It's on to the next one.